In case you're unaware, one of Formula One's outstanding teams, Red Bull, has recently teamed up with a new engine deal which might be a game changer in the upcoming season. With players like Verstappen and Perez, they might as well be able to dethrone Mercedes along with their brand new update. Over the past years, Red Bull has had an interesting relationship with engine deals, having bonds with Honda and Porsche. As of now, Ford is joining hands with Red Bull for the third time. Yep, you heard it right. Red Bull's two powerful teams will collaborate with American automaker Ford in 2026. That means that from then onwards, Red Bull Racing and AlphaTauri will use engines that will bear the Ford name and will also contain technical contributions from Ford. Interesting, isn't it? Ford is returning to Formula One after nearly 20 years from the competition. To create a next-generation hybrid power unit for Red Bull Racing and sister team AlphaTauri, the manufacturer is working with Red Bull. The teams will use Ford-powered engines between 2026 and at least 2030. A statement said that Ford will contribute to expertise in areas including battery cell and electric motor technology, as well as power unit control software and analytics. Although the news hasn't been officially confirmed, everything seems set in stone. According to the BBC, the automaker's press office forwarded a piece describing the agreement to an Italian news organization, which published it earlier than Ford had intended. Although it was later taken down, now everyone knows about the deal. So, in conclusion, through an engine partnership agreement with Red Bull Racing, the current Constructors' champion, Ford may make its Formula One debut in 2026. According to the media sources, the American automaker will support the F1 team financially and technically in exchange for having the engines branded as Ford products. However, Red Bull powertrains will continue to manufacture the engines internally, and by the new regulations beginning with the 2026 campaign. Is this a good deal for Red Bull? The collaboration will go beyond just a branding exercise, as Red Bull did in the past when it combined Renault engines with brands like Tag Heuer and Aston Martin, according to Ford, where it will have a direct engagement. Ford now has an F1 project it can be at the center of and contribute to without having to spend the money or hire the necessary resources to do it alone, thanks to the possibility of cooperating with Red Bull powertrains. According to rumors, the agreement between Ford and Red Bull Racing will be officially confirmed as soon as the team's 2023 livery debut. Isn't it crazy that the agreement occurred just a few months after the F1 team's failed negotiations with Porsche? Though the automaker proposed purchasing 50% of the team principal Christian Horner and motorsport advisor Helmut Marko stressed that it wouldn't be possible and that they would only consider engine sponsorship arrangements. For Red Bull, the transaction strengthens the financial and marketing power of its newly formed powertrain subsidiary by bringing in a manufacturer with a global reputation and, more importantly, a strong presence in the United States, where F1 has seen a significant growth in recent years. It will be a massive boost. Red Bull powertrains never intended to depend on a relationship with an automaker. However, discussions with Porsche and Honda were undertaken before Ford, and this seemed like a good choice. Contemplating the matter, Christian Horner, the team's principal, also stated that working with an OEM would be fine, as long as it was done on Red Bull's terms. Ford has complied by making a financial and technical commitment while letting Red Bull maintain ultimate control. Honda presently powers the Red Bull Formula One vehicle and will do so until 2025 when the rules change. Honda had pulled out of the agreement in 2021, but returned in 2022 for a collaboration only intended to extend until 2023. According to a BBC story, the Japanese company extended the contract until the end of 2025, after which Ford will step in to co-fund the development of a new engine with Red Bull. A change in CEO occurred between the decision to quit in October 2020 and the official withdrawal in December 2021, which helped a U-turn on Honda's involvement in Formula One. When Honda's tune was altered, it was logical that talks about collaborating on a new engine for 2026 would arise, given the two companies' incredibly positive relationship and track record of success. Ford has been active in Formula One since the 1960s. Before leaving the sport in 2022, it contributed as an engine manufacturer to 10 Constructors and 13 Drivers' Championships. The Cosworth DFV V8 engines, which dominated Formula One from 1967 through the early 80s, was supported by Ford. In case you didn't know, that was one of the greatest engines ever made. Before selling it to Red Bull after the 2004 race season, the American auto giant also owned the Jaguar F1 team in the early 2000s. However, Ford decided to make a comeback due to impending rule changes relating to growing engine electrification and sustainable fuels. And this might just be a new bag. Looking at the stats, the deal with Ford might be a huge game changer for Red Bull in the upcoming future seasons. Ford President and CEO Jim Farley said, "Ford's return to Formula One with Red Bull Racing is all about where we are going as a company. Increasingly electric, software-defined, modern vehicles and experiences. F1 will be an incredibly cost-effective platform to innovate, share ideas and technologies, and engage with tens of millions of new customers." During the same limelight, Mark Rushbrook, Global Director of Ford Performance, told the Associated Press, "Red Bull is committed to winning, and they've demonstrated that they're capable of winning. We want to be in motorsports for the technology and for the marketing, but we want to do it winning and with the right partner. They're committed to that. They have a winning culture." After Honda, the current engine supplier, expressed uncertainty about its long-term commitment to Formula One, Red Bull established its power unit facility in 2021. Honda engines will be used by Red Bull and its sister team, AlphaTauri, through 2025 and the end of the current regulation cycle, after which V6 turbo hybrids will still power F1 cars under the new power unit regulations for 2026, but with more electrical power and the use of sustainable synthetic fuels in the internal combustion engine. It's interesting to note that this is not just Red Bull and Ford. The whole F1 team is excited about this collaboration. F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali said, "The news today that Ford is coming to Formula One from 2026 is great for the sport, and we're excited to see them join the incredible automotive partners already in Formula One. They are a global brand with an incredible heritage in the racing and automotive world, and they see the huge value that our platform provides with over 500 million fans around the world." He added, "Our commitment to be net zero carbon by 2030 and to introduce sustainable fuels in the F1 cars from 2026 is also an important reason for their decision to enter F1. We believe that our sport provides the opportunity and reach unlike any other. We cannot wait for the Ford logo to be racing around F1's iconic circuits from 2026. Bill Ford, the car's manufacturer executive chair, also dived into the conversation and said, "Ford is returning to the pinnacle of the sport, bringing Ford's long tradition of innovation, sustainability, and electrification to one of the world's most visible stages." Well, I guess we all wait and see what Ford and Red Bull come up with. Though numerous outstanding teams exist in the F1, Red Bull and Mercedes have dominated for the last 10 years. Sebastian Vettel and the energy drink team ruled the grid from 2010 to 2013. Now with the hybrid age, it's no doubt that the competition is at its peak. In 2021, Mercedes and Red Bull were the top contenders. Due to the new car designs for 2022, which feature considerably simpler aerodynamics and the reintroduction of the ground effect, which was so well known and divisive in the 70s and 80s, things have changed drastically. Due to the aggressive design of the W13, which features nearly non-existent side pods and very narrow air intakes, Mercedes had a difficult start to the season. They have not yet been able to address their handling and balance issues brought on by excessive porpoising brought on by the ground effect. But things have improved as the race has continued. Even then, with Ford collaborating with Red Bull in a few years, Mercedes might have to up their game slightly. What do you think? The Red Bull RB18, on the other hand, has a more well-balanced design, a powerful engine, and is aerodynamically highly effective. Although it has experienced some hydraulic and overheating issues that have led to some retirements, it is still very quick, especially at race pace, even though it is less dependable than the Mercedes. F1 always has a turn of events. Anything could happen at any point in time. But from what we can see, the new engine deal with Ford might threaten Mercedes in the future. What do you guys think? Will Red Bull be able to dethrone Mercedes by collaborating with Ford? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. For more content on your favorite F1 teams, subscribe and stay tuned.